Who's ready for a story? All right. This story is going to be about a dead guy. Let's call dead guy Darren. Darren died a while ago. I can't say the exact date, so let's just make one up. Beginning of February's about close. All right? Darren died beginning of February. We got to talking to a woman who said she was his wife. We'll name her Emma. How's that? Emma, turns out, was not his wife. And where we live, you have to be legally married to be a legal spouse. Common law does not apply in order to make cremation or burial decisions for a decedent. So, after long conversation, Emma stated that Darren has 2 children. He has a daughter. We'll call daughter Dawn. Right? And he has a son. We'll call son Sean. Make him small. So, Dawn and Sean, according to Emma, are horrible people. Like, demonic. We'll put horns on them because she actually referred to Dawn at one point as a monster. So she said they had nothing to do with their father Darren for almost most of their life, and they don't care what happens to him, blah, blah, blah. All of it was drama. How do we spell drama, kids? Drama, right? So all this drama, and we finally advise Emma that there is no way we can move forward with the cremation or burial of Darren until we have Dawn and Sean's consent. And so she finally gives up their phone numbers, and we call Dawn first. Dawn, as it turns out, is actually a very nice girl. And she's happy to sign over a form that will give Emma permission to make the decisions as to whether she wants to cremate or bury Darren. Then we just had to talk to Sean. Sean, as well, we'll put a ball cap on Sean, how's that? Is a very nice man. He also is willing to sign over a delegation of authority for Emma to make burial and cremation decisions for Darren. They said and admitted that they did not have a relationship with their dad, but they were not angry about it. So, Emma, now with the ball in her court, wants to bury Darren at a veteran cemetery. Sounds great. But after calling Emma and calling Emma and calling Emma with no response and no reply back, we finally left a message with Emma, let's say a month later. A month later, Darren is not looking so good. Because when a dead body is sitting in a cooler, it does not stop the decomposition process. It slows it down. He is decomposing. Darren is starting to look a little funky, and he's starting to smell. So, we leave a final voicemail for Emma and say, if you do not reach out to us soon, we will have to file with Darren as an abandoned case with the state. Or it goes back to Dawn and Sean. Lo and behold, Emma appears out of nowhere. Calls and says, I'm ready. I've been in the hospital, but I feel better now. Comes and shows up at the office. And the moment she sees how much burial cost, Emma breaks down into a complete, I'm sick, I'm dying, and I don't have the money for this. What am I going to do? So we give Emma the option to apply for the county to pay for cremation, but Emma does not want him cremated. She wants him buried. Well, I'm sorry, but unless there is a religious requirement, then the county will only pay for cremation. We give Emma the phone number to call our state county office and apply for funding, and assistance. Usually this can happen as quickly as one day. 4 days later, let us say we are now the first week into March. So 4 days later, after the first, let's say about the 5th. May I remind you, this is not the real date that these have happened. This is a story from the past. So, March 5th, we hear nothing from this county office, and we call them. There's a lady, very nice lady. We'll put her over here. She works at the county office. She's the one that can help fund cremation or burial if you apply for it. She says to me, I have no idea who Darren is. I've had nobody call. Nobody, Emma, has not called to apply for county assistance, and Darren is still rotting in the cooler. So we call Emma again and again. No answer on her phone. Voicemails were left, approximately three days in a row. Mind you, after the 5th, now we are on March 7th-ish. So finally, we get a phone call from Sean. Sean says, hey, is it possible for me to get a death certificate for my dad? And we inform Sean, well, I'm sorry, Sean, but Emma, who you signed authority to, hasn't done a single thing. As a matter of fact, your dad is still rotting in the cooler. Sean is now like, what? You mean he's still sitting there? I mean, I didn't get along with the guy, but that doesn't seem right. And we explained to Sean the opportunities we gave Emma to apply for county, and they've heard the number, and that the lady over at the county has no idea who Emma is or has no case for Darren. And then Sean asks a very bright question. He says, may I call the county and apply to have them pay for cremation so that I can have my dad put to rest? And we say, of course. Here's her phone number. Within 2 hours of this conversation, Sean emails over an approval from the county that says they will cover full costs of cremation. The funny part about this story is we had to at least give Emma a courtesy call and let her know that, hey, Sean has stepped in, applied for county, got an approval, and we are now going to file paperwork within the next week to cremate Darren. Of course, she does not answer her phone, and we leave a message indicating this. Within 5 minutes, she calls back. She is angry. What do you mean you're gonna cremate him? I told you he had to be buried. Those kids signed their rights over to me. I am in charge. I am the one that has say. They do not. What do you think you're doing? I'm going to sue you. And that's when we remind Emma that they signed the delegation over to her only as giving her permission to make arrangements. It is not a right. So, needless to say, and happy ending hopefully, despite a bad relationship between his children came through. Darren has been cremated. Not just has he been cremated, but Sean and Dawn called the cemetery over in the next town and arranged to have his ashes placed with other veterans in a beautiful graveyard with a lovely head marker with his name, his rank, the service he served in, and the years of his date of birth and his date of death. I don't know what Emma's up to now, but needless to say, it wasn't a very good gamble to ask her or count on her to make these arrangements. There are many more details as to what she said as to why she could not do these things, but I felt they were too personal of details to be saying this on public video. So let's just say that Emma had every reason in the world not to make these arrangements, while Darren, regardless of who they were, what they'd done, or what was said, was probably didn't seem like a very good father to these children, but these children, regardless, did the right thing. Every story I end up with, there's always one person that ends up doing the right thing, no matter what was done to them or what has been said about them. And it's interesting because as much as Emma had to say about how horrible these two kids were, it was Emma who came out in the end sounding like the monster. An entitled, useless monster. That's just my opinion. So, if you're wondering, Darren has been placed, Darren has been put to rest, and Darren is at peace. The only person I think that isn't at peace is probably this poor woman right here. Until next time, folks, live your life to the fullest, okay?